What's up, everybody? I just want to pop in and talk about K-pop Demon Hunters. I finally got around to watching it because the hype was just so built up. I figured, okay, I had some time to kill last night, and it's like, okay, let's check out this film, and honestly, it's really good. It is really really good, and I ain't gonna beat around the bush. The music is pretty fire. I mean, it's phenomenal, and like the characters are so well done. And it's like once again, developers and writers, animators, etc. From the East are doing so much better than anybody here from the Western countries in terms of character development in whereas movies, TV shows, or comics or manga in their case, it's just they know how to write, especially females. I'll get into that, you know, soon, but yeah, man, they're just killing it. It was is an Netflix original developed by Sony. You can tell, given the animation style, is very into the Spider Verse, which I hope. Well, I say I hope. There's been quite a few times when people try to utilize that same animation, but I'm worried that it's gonna be one of those crutches with certain developers thinking like, oh, this worked for K-pop Demon Hunters. This worked for Into the Spider-Verse. Let's just do that, and without knowing why they were so successful with that, hoping they will just ride their coattails and just be an automatic success. And I don't want them getting that mindset, or any future animators getting that mindset of, oh, this did well, because they Hollywood or Hollywood adjacent tend to learn the wrong lessons as to why certain things did well. It's the whole Marvel DC thing years ago, where it's like, oh, Marvel did like a shared universe thing. Let's all just try to ape off that without knowing why they were so successful with that. They half-ass it or try to cut corners or rush, and it tends to fail miserably. And I don't want this to be that same issue. Hopefully, that won't be the case. But anyway, uh, this is directed by Maggie Kang and Chris Apahans. Uh, the actors are Arden Cho, who plays Rumi, the lead vocalist of Huntrix. EJ provides the singing voice. Uh, Eon Ho Sep as Jinu, leader of the Saja Boys. Andrew Choi provides the singing voice. Mei Hong voices Mira, the visual and main dancer of Huntrix. Audrey Nuna provides the singing voice. Jae Young Hu or Yo as Zoe, the main rapper, lyricist, and Makni of Huntrix. It's Makni. And it's a South Korea musical thing, I guess. Uh, Ray Ami provides the singing voice for Zoe. Yoonjin Kim voices Celine, a former demon hunter and K-pop idol who fostered Rumi. Leah Salonga provides the singing voice. Jo Kim Booster voices Romance Saja. Samui or Samuel, I guess, Lee provides the singing voice. Booster also voices the variety show host One and Idol host. Alan Lee as Mystery Shaja. Kevin Hu provides the singing voice. Sung Won Cho as Abs Saja. And this the whole cartoonist thing about his abs is freaking hilarious. Neck Wave provides the singing voice. Danny Chong provides Baby Saja's singing voice. Lisa Kushi as a host. Daniel Day Kim voices Healer Han, an eccentric doctor. Ken Jeong provides the voice of Bobby, the agent and manager of Huntrix. And Lee Byung Hun voices Guaima, the king of demons. So the voice casting is just immaculate. Everybody did an amazing job here. And I'm a huge fan of animation. That's the thing. Because especially as a voice actor myself, I just like, as one of my favorite things in terms of filmography and movies and stuff, my favorite thing behind that is, animation. It's like, because growing up watching manga and cartoons, like that's one of my favorite things of all time. So when animation done spectacularly, I gotta give kudos, because that kind of stuff kind of stands out for me. Similar how like when it comes to like the movie Frozen, how given snow was like a big theme of it, animators made sure that snow looked immaculate. They even, like, if you look it up, they spent time making sure each snowflake was unique. That is like, it sounds laborious, but it paid off big time. Because it's just like with Moana with the water, because water is like a major component of this world. That water better look immaculate, because it isn't like a side thing or an innocuous thing. It is like a big thing. So, those things has to pop. So in K-pop Demon Hunters, the music has to be is a major thing. They cannot slack on that. It is a major component. And so that has to hit. And the animators and the writers and the and director, they want to make sure, okay, K-pop, is a major thing. And the design or the concept of Huntrix, the three main girls, clearly was inspired by, especially the Shaja boys, they were inspired by all the K-pop stars that was birthed over the past decade, like, Blackpink or BTS, etc. I'm not a huge K-pop person. I'm familiar with certain some of these people, but I think the only K-pop I remember that really stuck out to me was Psy, who did Gundam Style. But after this, I think K-pop Demon Hunters, like, a few of their songs I still got in my head, because it's like we're Frozen, and that's what some people call this, like the new Frozen, because that the songs like hit so well. But I think this might have dethroned Frozen to a degree, because while Frozen probably, even though it has like quite a few hits, well, at least in terms of the first film, quite a few hits, more people probably remember Let It Go more so than any other song that was in it, because that Let It Go topped the charts for at least quite a few years. This movie has several songs, probably it has a legit album that, stand to reason that, yeah, this is, it's hard to argue this won't dethrone, if it haven't already, Frozen. in terms of music. And I imagine by this coming Halloween, there's gonna be a lot of people dressed up as hunters, especially, you know, a trio of girls want to dress up as hunters. It's like a group uh, costumes. Matter of fact, I think the in terms of Halloween costumes, I bet you're gonna be seeing a lot this year. Huntrix, Smoke and Stack from Sinners, at least and the villain from Sinners. Uh, uh, Supergirl with the Supergirl outfit with the trench coat on. Somehow that's like a good combo for some reason. Uh, uh, right now, off the top of my head, those are gonna be like the main costumes you're gonna be seeing a lot this coming Halloween, which is like a month and a week from now. October's gonna be rolling around, so those gonna be like the main costumes you're gonna be seeing a lot this year. Anyway, so the movie begins with a little bit of historical context, where and there's a lot of Korean influence here. It's not just with K-pop. It's like a lot of Korean love and history in terms of mythology and Korean influence throughout, like when it comes to like music, and like cultural significance or cultural influence throughout the world because of Korea. So I appreciate that. I always love when you delve in like different cultures mythology, like Japanese mythology or Native American mythology. All that stuff, that's a good interest of mine. I love that stuff, like different pantheons and all this stuff. It's so cool. So you got like this cat and bird, which clearly is like inspired by a Korean like demonology, which this cat thing is like creepy looking. But what I appreciate, because unlike something like Illumination or something like that, will have this cat be like some kind of jokester voiced by Alan Tudyk or something, and making some stupid noises or talk and put all the comedy into this one freaking character, like they did with that Josh Gad snowman character. And thank God they didn't do that. It just let the cat just be a style. And the bird just be a bird, and don't it just has like bird sounds to it. Don't waste money by hiring Alan Tudyk just to do bird noises. Just you got like instruments that just give you bird sounds and let it be that. Completely free. But it's just the cat just try to fix things that's been knocked over, and just that is enough for the comedy. That is enough. Little goes a long way, and that proves it. It just you see the cat just being a cat, and that's the joke, and that is that. You don't need to be. It shows up when it needs to show up, and in enough time that we had with it, it served perfectly. But then you see like the boy band group, the Saja Boys, and most of the time you see them in this black cap, black garb, which is in the style of in Korean mythology, because what we have in the West is like the Grim Reaper with like typically is like a skeleton with a scythe and like in a robe. They had what the Saja Boys typically you see them depicted is like the Korean version of the Grim Reaper, was given the fact that they're demons matches pretty well. So you can see like the little touches and like the uh, care involved and the thought put in to make sure everything kind of lines up. If you, especially if you look deeper into it afterwards, it all matches. And nothing's just doing it just to do it. Um. Uh. So anyway, you learn that a long time ago, Guayma sends out demons to feast on souls of the people to feed him to make him stronger. Then a trio of women warriors is always in threes, who use music, or in this case, like song, to create this hummon. Every time I think about hummon, I think about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but it might just be a coincidence. Uh, and I think it's spelled differently, but sounds the same. But they create this hummon, which is pretty much like a barrier that encompasses the world, where it keeps the majority of demons at bay. Some might slip through the crack here and there, and that's where they come in as warriors to kill them and send them back to hell. So over the generations, there's always a new group of singers, and I think they always are Korean. I don't see like anybody of a different culture, which is fine. I think it's like a very specifically Korean type of thing. Because I don't want, I say it, but you don't know what the future might hold. But I just want it to be like, okay, this is a Korean thing. Each group of hunters, in my opinion, even though they need to be Korean, but even though the Zoe is Korean American, it's still Korean, and I don't want no black chick, and especially it's K-pop, no doubt. But even if it's not K-pop, like the previous huntrix in the past were singers and not necessarily K-pop. But I don't want no like any other culture or race of a woman to say like step in as like a huntrix. I personally believe it just needs to stick with like it being like a Korean thing. Uh, uh, so over the generations, uh, the group of trio women, use their powers. Don't know how they choose these women in terms of like, you know, because yeah, sure, it's like they may be able to sing, but how they get the power necessary to have that influence to strengthen the barrier. I was like, how is that chosen out of the hundreds of women that can possibly sing? Which one is worthy to be a part of this the next trio? I mean, they talk about making a sequel to this, and I'm kind of all for it. I just hope there isn't no too many cooks in the kitchen in the next go around. And then in the next one, they'll explain how a huntrix is chosen, or at least another trio is chosen. But I don't, because every time something gets popular, and then and not all the time, but like a significant amount of time, when something gets popular, and then the next sequel, there's now a bunch of studios who probably didn't give much, care about the thing. And then once it gets popular, now everybody wants to have their little input in when they didn't give a crap before because they didn't want to take the risk because if not being successful. This is one of those things where it's like, give something a chance and he might blow up. And sometimes you gotta give like original ideas. This is one of those good examples of an original idea because somebody actually put some time and care into it and not just doing it to be another like girl boss movie or some DEI movie. So I don't want any, too many hands in the pies in a potential sequel to this. I want the same creators behind this to be the only ones that have the final say so of anything going forward with this. And I hope they don't dilute their brand if they do a TV show or whatever. I don't want anything being diluted in this franchise because I want it to be something like John Wick, where its brand has not been diluted. Even with that TV show they tried to do with about the Continental, I heard wasn't doing so hot. It still hasn't been diluted because Ballerina, from what I'm understanding, is pretty good. Haven't seen it yet, but at this stage, people who's behind the John Wick franchise made sure it stays true to its essence, and I want that with Demon Hunters. Anyway, so now throughout the years, it's down to the Huntrix with Rumi, Zoe, and Mira, and now they're the generation where they will pretty much make this big album which has songs that will strengthen the Hamon one last time to make a golden Hamon, to completely forever banish the demons to hell, and they cannot ever escape. Uh, uh, but with Guayma, who is is getting tired of everybody's failure, that's when Genu and his Saja boys step in, saying like, okay, we will become a K-pop boy band to rival them and outdo them with our music that would weaken their powers, because which kudos to the creators who acknowledges about the K-pop, the world of K-pop, where the audience has this kind of connection with the artist and everything like that, and it's like runs deep. So they, in a movie, they have the audience and the fans, work in synergy with like in terms of influencing the powers of the Huntrix with a rival band, kind of diluting the fan base, and some of them flowing towards the Saja boys. Their influence is weakened, and because of that, more demons are starting to spring forward. So that is like one of those touches. I really appreciate it. You can look at behind the scenes. You can hear the director Maggie Kang speak about this. So Rumi, who is having trouble with her voice recently, we learned that she and Celine held a secret about her. She, Rumi is part demon. Her father was a demon, and her mother was a previous Huntrix. Well, they didn't call them. These are Huntrix, but I guess previous females who trio of singers probably call themselves something different. But Celine worked with Rumi's mother as a previous group before Huntrix. She died, saving the world from demonic influences, and Celine pretty much, took her under her wing and looked after her. But that's why Rumi never went to the bathhouse with her teammates, and you never see her without a jacket on, because her arms and her back, you see these demonic patterns, which only demons have. And if there was a sequel, it'd be interesting to see like who was the father. Which I'm glad it wasn't like the main demon king Guayma, because that would have been like too easy. Because most uh, movies will probably have something like that. But maybe in the sequel we can learn like who was the father. But we don't get that here. So Rumi's been hiding this secret from her friends because, in terms of demon hunting, they are their culture is very strict on the mission. Demons have to be slaughtered. There, it's kind of like has some kind of prejudice against demons. This preconceived notion that they all are just inherently evil, and she feels self-conscious, and it's like, okay, as Celine mentions to her when she was a young kid, once the golden Haman is awakened and the vast demon horde is completely sealed away, the patterns will go away. So she is, kind of rushing this golden album for the Idol Awards, even though it won't give like her teammates like a bit of a break. It's like, no, we got to get this, because she really wants to get rid of this like patterns, so she can have like a normal life, and that way she'll never have to, or well, I was never sure if she was going to be honest. If that would have been the case, I was never sure if she was going to be completely honest with her friends then, or just ignore it all because it's not a thing anymore. Who knows? But she's starting to lose a bit of her voice, and she thinks it's because of the patterns, because it's creeping up more and more as she got older. And after trying to talk with this snake oil salesman, this doctor, who somehow is able to kind of read the girls and their little personalities and insecurities, pretty quickly. Like Rumi always has a wall up. Zoe, is like a people pleaser, and of course, Mira, who's pretty much like just like the very, I won't say emo, but kind of has that kind of Daria attitude, about herself, and just refuse to be read like that. Which I want to bring up here, that this is how you write female characters, and why the East is dominating that market right now, because they know what the fans want, especially young girls. You gotta write badass females without trying so hard. You're not just doing it in a vacuum, like, oh, this is badass just because. No, these are feminine girls, with distinct personalities, who are best friends with young girls, like to, fantasize of boys and kicking ass and just being cordial and friendly and girly with each other, and just, just like a female thing that, the West, for the most part, has been trying to stamp out because it might not look very girl positive. And it's like, that's why I can't stand when they're trying to force it, because it seems so hollow and inorganic. Here, this is how you do it. The West used to know this and was able to do this in their sleep, when ever since probably like the Me Too movement moving forward, they've been like pushing this narrative that's been like, seems so inorganic and forced, trying to look at us, we're with the women, we're girl positive and everything like that. It's like it just seems like, pandery. Like you want a pat on your back because you got like a female led thing, without understanding why you're, I don't want to say why you're doing it, but it's just, without making the character layered and personable, the audience can gravitate to on a human level, not just like a female level, but a human level. You look at Zoe, Mira, and Rumi, you connect with them on a very personable level, which is like a testament to the writers involved. Like, even if you're not a girl or even not Korean, you still understand on a fundamental level about each of these distinct personalities. Like, you can, there's plenty of people from all walks of life can understand Zoe being a people pleaser. It's not just hyper focused on this one demographic in this hyper specific person like the West typically has to make it. Like, like, oh, you only, only black women who is a paraplegic, who's queer, who's blind, can understand this particular person. And that is it. A very minimal of the minimal demographic. If that makes any sense. This encompasses a wide berth of people. There's plenty of girls, plenty of people in general can understand somebody like Mira with the attitude and kind of closed offness. It's just so funny. She goes to a Met Gala in nothing but a sleeping bag, and she's like a fashion icon. It's just because she's too cool for school kind of attitude kind of thing. It's so funny. So that's what, kudos to the people behind this. That's why I hope in the sequel they don't lose that essence of what make these characters so great, and they kind of elevate them, take it to the next step. Instead of making them about Rumi, we can kind of focus on one of the other two girls. Anyway, and I love the whole turning on his head of the meet cute kind of thing when they meet the Saja boys, and they all like smitten with them because they're hot, good looking. Which, by the way, yes, make these people hot and good looking. The girls need to look at hot dudes with abs, with chiseled jawlines, or at least in terms of K-pop, however they like their boy bands. And of course, guys like looking at these K-pop girls because like they're hot, they're young, hot, women. There's a bit of a badass and funny, charming a bit, sure, and it can be a little quirky from time to time. But the whole Me Cute era, he looked like he's about to reach out and help her up when he bumped into her and knocked her down. It's kind of like psych, and where are you going? He does this thing. It's like psych, and of course, and it's typical in a female fashion. If girls might not like the bad boy kind of thing, or at least if a guy gives them attitude, but they're so good looking, and it's like they cannot ignore. They're trying to, on the surface, ignore the fact that, point out the fact that they're so rude and so such a d-bag and stuff. But their female nature just can't ignore the fact that they're good looking, got chiseled abs that they can't like get their eyes off of. I like that. It's funny, and it's something that women acknowledge, that Western animators or just movies in general just don't want females to be females, and acknowledge that they are into good looking dudes. So that's when Saja Boys make their official debut with the Soda Pop song, which is like just a banger of a song. I honestly, like, I put it, at least 4 of the songs from Demon Hunters on my like playlist because it's so freaking good, and Soda Pop is one of them. And I love it, and even it's so good that even the Demon Hunters can't help but like kind of bounce to it, and the Saja Boys dance moves from Soda Pop got so viral that you see even real life K-pop stars, doing TikTok dances of the Saja boys. It becomes such like a big deal, and he did the whole shoulder move. I love how Zoe and the manager just kind of like jamming to it. Kind of, this is like the shoulder thing. It's really funny, but yeah, man. And I love the in-world acknowledgement of other K-pop, real life K-pop artists like Blackpink and Twice. I'm pretty sure it was like Twice. You just acknowledging the in-world K-pop groups. You see like the love of K-pop in this film, like an appreciation of the K-pop culture. I really appreciate that. Even though I'm not a huge K-pop person, I acknowledge this, the world behind that is a massive deal, and they have fans for a reason, because there's a whole type of culture around that thing. Matter of fact, it would be an interesting thing to see some kind of documentary about, like, I'm pretty sure they gotta be some kind of documentary about K-pop as a whole culture and the world behind that, because so many intricate details behind all that stuff that the people in the West just can't just not that familiar with. Anyway, they quickly pick up that these boys are demons, so now they have to be able to stop them in secret, but they can't do that because they're always trying to figure out a way to be in public, so they can't, like, because this is like a secret thing. So it's almost look like a cartoon, like Looney Tunes. They try to sneak behind things and try to get them, but they give them the slip. It's very Road Runner, Wile E. Coyote kind of thing, which is very funny. Is to this day, that kind of dynamic is so freaking funny because it's a formula that works in the right context. So in like a fight in a bathhouse, ironically, Rumi takes on Jinu, who discovers that she is part demon, and helps her conceal it as he makes his escape. And you start seeing demons slip through the cracks and rob the souls of people, which by the end of this is one of my criticisms. Are they like dead, or did they get their souls back? This never acknowledges that you people are dead, or just mostly dead. They never acknowledge that. I kind of wish, if I had like one major criticism, I kind of wish they kind of got a little bit more specific with that, because there's massive amount of people that got like, there's like a train sequence, and people that's on this train just completely disappeared. There's no bodies on the ground or anything like that. It's just kind of like, oh, their souls clearly got robbed or what have you. But and there's like news reports of disappearances in the area, but it's just kind of like, okay, did they return? Did they get their souls back? I want some kind of acknowledgement of that, at least one way or the other. So Genu sends his cat and bird with an invitation that's stuck in the cat's mouth. It's kind of gross, but the design of that cat is kind of freaky looking, but cool at the same time, because it's almost like straight off the page depiction of that demonic cats of Korean folklore. It's named after something specific from Korean folklore. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. But Rumi meets up with Genu in secret, and you learn a bit of Genu's past, where he used to be human 400 years ago, and him, his mom, and his younger sister were poor, and he's trying to sing and play this. Well, you would think of it as kind of like a guitar or a lute, but they call it something specific in Korea, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But he's, for the sake of the argument, it's a guitar, and he's trying to play, but he's not getting much money. and his family's living in squalor. Then that's when he heard the voice of Guayma, who pretty much making like a devil's bargain, where uh, Jinu's voice became so popular that the king or like ruler of the village brought in Jinu and his family to live a life of, you know, wealth and privilege, as long as he's like entertain the emperor and his guests, etc. But that's when eventually his soul got taken to the Korean version of hell, and he regret that. But there was some more to it behind that he wasn't divulging to Rumi. But you see like a budding romance between these two, and I love their dynamic, their chemistry. Their chemistry is amazing, which is something that is sorely missed in Western film. That a woman, dare I say, can be super into a good-looking guy without making him incompetent or some kind of, misogynist or a monster in the metaphorical sense, not literal sense. Just just like a normal interaction between a heterosexual male and a heterosexual woman, which is something like you can't seem to have that most of the time over here, because it's all about like some use like an LGBTQ kind of thing. There's gotta be some kind of lesbian or some type of queer or not, it's like whatever kind of thing. Very scarce if you get like a good, honest to goodness heterosexual relationship. I think the most recent one we actually get to see was in Fantastic Four, First Steps, and Superman, where you actually see like an honest to goodness heterosexual couple. I'm not saying that we haven't gotten those outside of those two films, but it's so minimum, where it's like at a certain point it's almost rare to see nowadays. And it's kind of weird that that is the abnormal one, compared to like, oh, we gotta see two women ship together, oh, we gotta see two guys ship together, trans this or trans that. And it's like sub demographic compared to the majority who are heterosexual. Not to shit on people of the LGBTQ community, but it's just that there is like statistics is more heterosexuals than they are not. But you can hardly can tell, given certain movies and TV shows, they're trying to force an opposite narrative. Anyway, Mira picks up there's something odd going on with Rumi, because she's starting to question certain lyrics that they're trying to write up, and I think it's the song Takedown. After spending so much time with Jinu and being conflicted about her heritage, she thinking it's like, oh, do you think this is kind of too harsh to the demons? Which it's like, what are you talking about? We hate demons. It's like that's the whole point. And it's like she come across kind of weird. But at the same time, the fan base is kind of getting is lowering, because Saja Boy is getting super popular. And so that's why when they do the signings, instead of making two different tables, Rumi decides, okay, let's merge the tables, so that way, we can't have these fan bases separated. We gotta at least, keep it, even, or at least trying to maintain, some leg up in some modicum of ways. But at least a funny dynamic where these trio is trying to, they know who they are, each other are, and they sitting there like bickering while trying to maintain like a facade in front of the people. Uh, but I love how Genu is like getting kind of, as much as Rumi's getting influenced by him, he's getting influenced by her, and seeing like the fans kind of, this young girl looking up to him, drawing a art design that was really adorable. And it kind of wish like you see that picture make its way back, but I guess you got the point. Uh, but um, Gino made an agreement with Rumi stating that he would make sure that the Saja boys lose at the Idol Awards, so to give the Huntrix a chance to make the golden hum on, and because she thinks he actually is like a deep down a good person and not like a typical demon, where as long as he's here on Earth when the seal is made, he won't be sealed away in hell. He'll be able to live free away from Guayma. But Guayma ain't trying to have none of that. It's like we learned that no, you didn't tell her the whole truth. You went to live a life of luxury with the Emperor, and you left your mother and little sister behind to live in squalor all those years ago. You abandoned them, and that's your sin. So you learn a little bit more about him. Oh, I do think is a good thing that you kind of pay attention to certain of the lyrics, because the pretty much like right as the Saja boys make their debut with Soda Pop, you listen to the lyrics, they tell you what they're planning to do to the people, pretty much like drinking their souls or something like that, like Soda Pop. Or it's like you listen to the lyrics, or at least read the lyrics itself on paper, and you'll see like they're pretty much telling the world, like hiding in plain sight, what they're going to do to them. And it's kind of like, that's like a cool touch. I'm pretty sure there's things like that in all the song lyrics, something that's like, you don't have to read too much into it. It's just like it kind of being plain as day with it. But at the Idol Awards, Rumi gets separated from her friends as they thinking the manager is getting kidnapped by some demons, but it's a trick to keep Rumi separated, as demons impersonate Mira and Zoe and reveal her, take off her jacket and reveal her demon marks, and the world thinking like, oh, there's a public breakup of Huntrix, and the real Mira and Zoe sees the marks, and like they're felt betrayed, like, oh, you've been hiding this from us, you're demons the whole time. And so she is hurt. She ends up running to Celine, who I'm shocked that wasn't around a lot more to keep an eye on things. But then you see the fact that, which is like we see her like a little bit in flashbacks, but she is just living her life, in this little small village where I guess the Huntress was trained to be the next group. She is, she says she loves Rumi, but Rumi challenges her because, no, you only love part of me. You didn't love me completely, my human and demonic side. You've been forcing me to hide who I am. And I'm worried that most people think this is another coming out story or whatever. It's like, but it isn't so narrow. is a little bit more broad than that. Uh, whereas like don't hide who you are, uh, and just be comfortable with who you are as a entire person, the good and the bad, whatever. But Celine is kind of steadfast on the fact that you know I'm hiding those facts because I wanted to protect you, but she felt ashamed. She won't kill Rumi. Rumi leaves right at the same time as Guayma is really powering up, and his influence is entrancing the public in the city, including Mira and Zoe and Bobby the manager. And the Saja Boys making this big concert and uh, leading the people like lambs to the slaughter until Rumi comes in with her song, which breaks the trance of Zoe and Mira, who make this final vocal performance. While the Saja Boys try to stop them, Guayma tries to obliterate Rumi. Genu steps in, sacrifices himself, and restores his soul in the process, and he gives it to Rumi to power up to finally put an end to Guayma for good, which breaks the control he has, which makes a new Hamon, and the world is saved. The friendship between the three girls is restored, and the movie ends with them finally at a bathhouse together, and just after all these years, Rumi never have a nice little soak with her friends. So now I like that it rolls back around that she finally get to have like a nice soak with her friends. And that was K-pop Demon Hunters. It was a great film, really great. The hype was real. If right now it did so well on Netflix, they have like a limited time in the movie theaters to go. If you want to go take your kids to go see it, a lot of young girls love it. Like I said, it's pretty much like the new Frozen. So yeah, man. I just wanted to talk about this now, because it's been on my mind, because I watched it last night, so I had to talk about it today. But if you have seen K-pop Demon Hunters, leave a comment below and let me know what you think. What was your favorite song? And what are any pros and cons about this that you might have about this? Because the only biggest kind of con I had about it was what happened to the people whose souls were robbed. Did they get that return, or are they just permanently dead? That was never kind of explored. Also, how were new girl? How is each new girl group chosen? Because just because they sing doesn't mean they can like help power up the barrier. It's like that. I kind of wish was a little bit more explained. But in any case, leave a comment below, and I will see you guys possibly tomorrow late evening to stream a little bit more. Don't know what I'm going to be streaming. It's either going to be more Borderlands 2. I've got to wrap up the Captain Scarlet DLC. I'm pretty sure I'm close to wrapping that up so I can go to the next DLC. But leave a comment below, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.